All right, how are you all doing? This is super weird. The mic is all the way up in me right now, and yeah, this is super weird because I'm recording. I'm trying a lot of different things. So, welcome to the midcast. If you are, of course, listening on Spotify or wherever, if you're listening to the podcast version, welcome to the midcast. That is what it is called because it is mid. And if you're watching on YouTube, welcome to the channel. How you guys doing? So today we are going to be talking about Lord of the Rings, the third part, the return of the king. I have returned, obviously. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the third part. I'm probably going to have one more episode where I'm with a friend and we discuss the trilogy as a whole because, it's a trilogy and it's like a series and I really want to go over all the way from the first movie to the end. But today specifically we're going to be focusing on the third movie in the series. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy listening / watching, and let's get on with it. Alright, now that we got the awkward intro out of the way, because it's super weird. I'm still super awkward. I don't know why I'm being awkward. Also, I can see myself over there. Alright, I'm bending a lot. I'm becoming Gollum. Anyway, so we are going to be talking about Lord of the Rings. Before I get into the pros and cons, what did I think of the movie as well? I like to say that straight up because I'm not going to keep you till the end. I'm not going to cock tease you and be like, did I like the movie or did I not? I like the movie. It certainly wasn't my favorite. I think the second part is still beats the third part by a huge margin. I think the second movie, now that I've watched all three, second movie was the best movie, but it's not a bad movie. There's still a lot of things to talk about. I have a whole list here as I do. And yeah, we are going to be starting with what I did not like about the movie because I usually like to go over those first. And then we'll obviously talk about in length about what I did like about the movie. And then we'll have probably like a in-depth discussion about all the three movies eventually. But yeah, I did like this movie. But let's start with what I did not like about this movie. And I might rant a bit over here. Alright, let's start with what obviously I felt was by far the longest runtime ever. Okay, I watched the extended cut. You know what? I kind of deserved it because I put it upon myself, but I did watch the extended cut. It was 4 hours long. 4 hours long. Now you don't understand. I watch Bollywood movies. All Bollywood movies are big, right? Especially back in the day. I can sit for 3 hours. I can sit for 2 hours, 47 minutes, stuff like that. But 4 hours, it felt like a pain. So my number one biggest problem is, god damn it, this movie was long. It was way too long. And which comes to my second point, it was so boring for the first half. 2 hours in until things started to pick up. I am not even joking, 2 hours in. Again, I watched the extended cut, so I don't really know if you're watching the others, how it would have played out. But my god, it felt like a task. It was like, oh my god, I have to watch it. I didn't watch it in one sitting because why would I? But yeah, it really felt like it was the longest movie experience of my life. And yeah, that is my main complaint with the first one, is that it was just a boring first half, if I'm being honest. Like, it was just boring. And that is normally not bad, except this is a 4-hour video I watched. So 2 hours of it was just me not caring about most of the things which were happening, which is really unfortunate. But every movie has its good and bad, but that's the first thing. Number two, and this is where I think I'll have a rant. So the protagonist is Frodo, of course. I don't like the protagonist. I just don't like him. I don't know what it is, if his character is actually like that. The decisions Frodo takes, there's a point in this movie, obviously spoilers, right? Like, I don't have to say that. I'm trying not to be spoiler free, but I'm also trying not to give spoilers, whatever, listen. So, Frodo at one point believes Gollum and he thinks Sam is the one who's trying to betray him, which is so stupid. Like, why would he even think that? After everything you've been through up until that point, Frodo just decides, you know what? Gollum is right. And I get it. Towards the end, I was still very unhappy with whatever was happening and the ring made him do it. I get it, right? I don't actually. I really hate it. I hate Frodo. But yeah, the ring made him do it apparently. So it was the ring, guys. It was the ring. But yeah, it was really bad. And okay, so there is a point towards the end of the movie where Frodo is hanging by a cliff about to fall into lava, right? And I honestly wish he let go. I hated his character throughout. I did not like it at all. I did not feel sorry for him. I did not feel like, he should have a redemption arc. I didn't really feel sympathy, like, oh my god, the ring is making him do such evil things. He decided not to throw the ring in the end. It was so frustrating. I don't know if it was intentional. It obviously was. And I'm sure that's how the original story went. But my god, Frodo was the most frustrating character to watch throughout the movie. I hated it. Every time he was in a scene, I was kind of happy all the horrible things that were happening to him. I did not feel even one shred of sympathy. And, maybe I'm just a sociopath. I probably am, right? But I did not feel it at all. Like, I kind of wanted him to just die. And, okay, he didn't die. All that to just leave in the end. Obviously, spoilers. But he just leaves in the end with the elves. Like, what? Just kill him off. What would have been the perfect ending, right? That's I think, one major thing. So, okay, so big spoilers. If you're still listening to a point and you've not watched the movie, just skip away, go away. But how the ring gets destroyed is Gollum takes the ring and falls into lava, right? And the ring burns in the lava eventually. Gollum, crazy behind the ring, he eventually dies in lava. Okay, here's what I would have wanted. Obviously, this is just one guy's opinion, just shut the fuck up. I would have wished they both were fighting for the ring and they both fell into the lava. It would have been perfect. Gollum, the ring bearer, who absolutely lost himself to the ring, and Frodo, who also lost himself. Frodo refused to throw the ring, so he clearly was not in his sense. He put it on, he was invisible. And yeah, I wish it ended with both of them just falling into lava. Like, oh, everyone's like, oh, boo-hoo, Frodo's dead. Like, I don't care. I don't know why. Alright, my opinion, obviously, like, I did not feel any sympathy for him. And I was like, you know what, I don't mind if he's kind of dead. But anyway, if you're talking about cons, those are actually the only cons I have. Again, absolutely did not like Frodo's character at all in this movie. And it kind of ruins his character from the other movies as well. Although I did like him at start, but he was so unbearable to watch. It was the most frustrating watch I have ever had every time he was doing some dumb fucking shit. But those were the cons of the movies, right? Because obviously the reason I'm telling cons first is because the pros is way more than the cons, and there's much more to talk about in that. So we will move on to that. But yeah, that's what I did not like about the movie. So let's move on to what I did like about the movie, because it is a good movie. Like, I'm not gonna act like these things are bad. It is a good movie. Of course, the biggest flaw is the boring first half. Like, if I'm talking about casual movie viewers, you would not want to sit through it. Like, it's so boring. I would not want to sit through it. And I watch it because I'm into movies, but like, I don't know, it still is a famous movie. It's universally acclaimed, The Return of the King. So, joke's on me, I guess. But anyway, let's move on to the pros. I have talked way too long about the cons. About 6 minutes. You can bear me for 6 minutes. Anyway, we're moving on. Alright, so I became a bit too passionate about hating on Frodo. I ran out of breath. I was literally like, I just drank a sip of water right now. But anyway, let's move on to the pros, right? The movie, I love the opening of the movie. It gives you a backstory to Smeagol, by the way, who is Gollum. Incredible backstory, very, very dark. And it kind of, I want to say it sets the tone for the movie, because this movie is a bit gloomy, but also it doesn't really set that kind of dark tone, but very dark opening. The movie starts with a murder, and it's crazy, and you see how Gollum came to be. Incredible. I love the lore of Gollum, and I'm happy we came to know the backstory. I knew there was going to be a backstory, because why wouldn't you? Gollum is one of the most interesting characters in the series. But yeah, it was great. I loved the opening. I didn't even realize it was Andy Serkis in the start, and then he started speaking, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that is Andy Serkis. But yep, that is number one. CGI, as always, top notch. I love the CGI in this movie. It is great. Gollum looks absolutely amazing. There's a spider. Eventually, Gollum leads Frodo and Sam, or just Frodo, to a spider to get killed. The spider CGI, absolutely amazing. I love it. It reminds me I want to say Harry Potter-ish, but the thing is, this movie came out. Actually, this movie came out, or it was made at the time of the first Harry Potter. So I can't really say that, but CGI was great. Talking about CGI, the practical costume designs. Oh my god! I said this in my previous the Two Towers discussion review, whatever you want to call it. But I love the orcs and the goblins and the amount of effort that is put in. I highly recommend you guys watch the behind the scenes for this movie. It's absolutely incredible how much effort is put into it, and you really need to appreciate that. Like we always see the end result, and like it's very easy to shit on something someone has worked on so hard for. Obviously, it's like this is widely appreciated. It's not like an underrated aspect. Everyone talks about how incredible the set pieces and the costume designs in this movie are, but in general, like even the most shit movies, effort has gone into it. It's not the crew's fault the movie turned out to be shit, But yeah, incredible work on that part. I'm so impressed. To think that all of this was shot like in 2000 or 1999. I'm so sorry, excuse me. Anyway, Merry and Pippin, oh my god. Like, if you thought the previous movie gave their character more personality and gave them, like, it elevated them from side character to literally one of the best characters in the entire series. This movie especially. So I've never read the books, right? I've not read, it is based on book, The Lord of the Rings. I've not read the books. So it splits Merry and, I fucking got scared. It splits Merry and Pippin apart in this movie. And it makes the characters even more better because, usually Merry and Pippin are like a package deal. They're together all the time. But this movie splits them apart and their characters are so much more fun. Well, more Pippin, less Merry. But to be honest, like, at the end of it, you're really connected to these characters. They're not just like, oh yeah, Frodo's friends, It's not like that. Like, you're really connected to them. And I'm very happy. That's so clever. I don't know if that's faithful to the book. It probably must be, right? That's really good writing. Like, I'm tempted to actually read the books. A certain friend of mine actually has bought the books but not read them yet. But they're watching the movies first. I know. The same friend we're going to be talking to later. But yeah, I love Merry and Pippin. Absolutely amazing. I love what this movie does, how much importance it gives to them. And speaking of Frodo's friends, Sam Gamgee, I've written it wrong here, but that's how it's pronounced. Sam Gamgee is my absolute favorite character. Like, you see him in part 1, you're like, okay. You see him in part 2, you're like, okay. This movie really just absolutely pushes Sam Gamgee out of the gates, makes him one of the best characters ever. I think one of the best characters I've ever seen. But then again, I've not seen a lot of movies, I guess. But Sam Gamgee is such a good character. I love the way it is written. I love the actor. I really wish I'd seen the actor before I started recording. But I love the actor just portraying Sam Gamgee. I love his character so much. My favorite character was Gimli. At the end of the second movie, I was like, let me take a breath. I'm trying to be Eminem here. Anyway, so it was really great. Sam Gamgee is such a good character. He's definitely my favorite character at the end of, now that all the series, like all the 3 movies are over. Sam Gamgee is such a good character. I've said that 3 times now. I am going to move on, but I cannot emphasize enough how good of a character it is. Like, if you want to do a character sketch, right? If you really want to go back, Sam Gamgee is such a good character sketch. I guess you could not say he's not too unique and diverse, but oh my god, if you ever find a friend who is even 10% of what Sam Gamgee was, you have a good friend. It was incredible. I love his character the most. We're gonna move on now because I'm speaking too much about it. I've written some points here which actually lead back to something. The Fell Beast, they come back. Oh my god, I love them. The Wyverns, not dragons. Dragons have 2 limbs, but these guys are worms. I love them. They are back in this movie. You can see their glory. Oh my god, I am not joking. I was hard as hell every time they were on screen. Let's not talk about that more, but oh my god, I love the Fell Beasts. They are so freaking cool. I knew they were gonna be there because like the Fell Beast and the Nazgul, right? And the Nazgul are back in this. There's a head Nazgul. He has a crown and all. He's the one who stabbed Frodo and all the way in part 1. But oh my god, the Nazgul, probably my favorite concept. I just love the idea. Nazgul is not okay. I don't like the idea of the Nazgul that much. It's not very like, holy shit, this is so great. Maybe at the time it was, but it's like a little bit cliche because I've read it before. I read a lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff, so I've read it. The Fell Beast I've never seen. That is why I was so like, oh my god, I was so hyped about it. They are back in this movie. They're there multiple times. It's not just 1 or 2 scenes. I get to see all of their glory. Oh my god, I was so happy. And remember the little shield maiden? One of the cons of the previous movie was, oh yeah, there's a shield maiden, but her character isn't really fleshed out and all that. Actually, a lot of the cons in my previous episode kind of get ruled out here because the characters, as I had, I'm so sorry, mosquitoes. The characters as I had imagined do get fleshed out. Eowyn, that's her name. I did not even know her name until I saw this movie. Eowyn absolutely redeems herself. Like, okay, so she goes into battle. She's not supposed to go into battle, but she does. She's like the niece of the King of Rohan, context. But she beheads a Fell Beast. I love the Fell Beast, but I also like a good beheading of fictional. But oh my god, she beheads the Fell Beast, and then Merry strikes the head Nazgul and she fucking stabs him in the face. Oh my god, that was so fucking cool. I was salivating. I was like, holy shit, this is the coolest shit ever. Have you ever been excited as a kid? Like, that's what movies does to me, man. I just get super excited. You could probably see it on my face, unless you're listening to the podcast, yes. Then you can't. But then, oh my god, it was so much fun. She definitely redeems herself. What else have I written here? Yeah, I guess that's all about the Fell Beast because I've written other points, but it's not related to this. But yeah, man, that was great. I enjoyed everything. Fell Beast is one of the coolest monsters I've seen. Like, I don't see a lot of fantasy movies. I'm very commercial. Harry Potter is my only exposure to fantasy. I've only recently started getting into it. The Fell Beast is so cool. I absolutely love it. Deep breaths. Anyway, the next one, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. Yeah, these guys, the dream trio, dude. I really love the friendship between them. Like, it's such true friendship. Like, okay, obviously Sam is like a loyal friend to Frodo, right? Like, he's super loyal. But if I'm talking about the relationship between Gimli, which is a dwarf, Legolas, the elf, and Aragorn, the king. Well, king in the end, but I love the relationship. There's a point when Aragorn is going into the mountains to seek the help of the dead armies, the traitors and all. And then Gimli and Legolas are like, yeah, you know what, fuck you, we're coming with you. Don't even try to argue about it. It's great. Gimli and Legolas, because dwarves and elves, right? There's like a really cool line. I think I'm quoting it right. I don't know exactly. But it's the final battle and Gimli's like, never thought I would die side by side with an elf. And Legolas is like, how about side by side with a friend? Dude, I've heard that before. I didn't think it was from this movie. That is so good. Okay, I love the relationship between them. A whole character arc throughout the movie. Like in this movie, it's a bit less. You can still see those buddy moments, but if you're talking about all the way from the first movie to the end, like, it's great. I enjoyed it so much. I love the relationship. It's just a well-written series. Like, I want to cross-check because I keep saying it was directed at the same time, and I think it was because it's really well made. I love all the movies collectively. Alright, I'm speaking. Can you guys, I think I have asthma. No, I'm joking. Don't make fun of that. You should not make fun of people who have asthma. Anyway, so that's that final scene soundtrack. I'm not okay, so in your orthodox, like, my movie reviews are very unorthodox. I don't really follow a pattern. I don't talk about the plot. I don't talk about the camera angles. I don't talk about the acting, Oscar scene acting, unless of course it impresses me. So there's a reason why I don't mention all that. Like, you're probably wondering, okay, so is the acting not good? No, the acting is good, but I'm specifically talking about what I found good about the movie, right? So if you're looking for like a well-edged movie review, you're probably in the wrong place, right? This is just to either get you excited or to tell you, hey, this movie sucks. But always watch a movie. Never watch trailers for a movie, and always watch a movie for yourself. Anyway, the soundtrack which plays during the final scene when Sam and Frodo are walking towards the hill. I really like the soundtrack. I want to go ahead and re-listen to it, but I'm probably lazy and I won't. But that was the only time where I was like, holy shit, this soundtrack is amazing. You know, like I'm not a big fan of music soundtracks and all. I love them in games. I'm a huge fan of game soundtracks. Not so much into movies, but this one really made me like, you know, get into it. It was really nice. And yeah, the last pro. The last one I want to talk about is the ending. I felt it was a really good ending. The complaint I had about the ending is, okay, Frodo had to leave with the elves. Again, spoilers. He left with the elves for Eternal Earth along with his uncle because he could not live in peace on Earth. Which I guess it makes sense, you know. I was so hateful of Frodo. I still am in a way, but I've kind of forgiven him. The ending was great. The whole build up towards the end. Okay, from the point, it's like at least a solid 30 minutes. From the point the final war starts, all the way till the end. I love it. The build up, the music, the actual ending. There's my favorite part of the ending, Arwen, I haven't talked about the plot a lot because like I'm not describing the movie, so it's gonna be a bit weird. Like, I recommend you listen to these things if you actually watch the movie, or if you just want to know in general what's good about the movie, you know, because hey, now you can go to your friends and be like, oh yeah, I watched the Return of the King. Yeah, that's what happens, no? Oh, Frodo, he drops the ring in the thing, no? Yeah, I know. You can be like that, you know. So the ending was great. A lot of arcs get completed. My favorite scene is when the hobbits are bowing to Aragorn and he's like, you bow to no one, and everyone bows down to the 4 hobbits. And I love that. I love, like, obviously it was not just Frodo, but I love it's acknowledged. Like, these 4 hobbits, Merry and Pippin, are almost as important in the story as Frodo and Sam, which is so rare. Like, they're not just Frodo's friends who helped in battle. Like, they actually had important points in the story, which is so rare. I mean, I guess back then it wasn't. Nowadays it is. But I absolutely love that. And they all bow down, and the shot, oh my god. Like, again, I'm not into cinematography or anything, but it looked beautiful. This movie does have a lot of beautiful shots. Gandalf, obviously, great. Overall, good acting. Viggo Mortensen, great acting. Again, not Oscar worthy or anything, but absolutely amazing. You can tell he was dedicated to his role. I think I even heard he took actual training for it, which is, you know, dedication. Excuse me. But yeah, I absolutely adore how this movie ended. I love the ending. I love the build up to it. I love how it ends. Gollum, spoilers, I told you, right? He falls in the lava and he burns the ring with him. I think Gollum's ending was fitting. Like, it was the ring which led to his death, which was inevitable, but I'm so happy we got to see it. Again, I feel like it should have been Frodo and Gollum falling into the ring. He bit his finger off, nasty. Yeah, this movie is really good. Yeah, those are the things I liked about the movie. So, it was fun. It was a fun watch. I'm really glad. Anyway, we'll move on to the outro now because I've been speaking quite a while. I divide these recordings into sections, so you're not exactly listening to a lengthy recording. Like, when you see segments, they are recorded in segments. So anyway, let's just move on to the outro because I've talked about everything I did like about this movie. 4 hours. Oh my god, that's still a con. I hate that I watched the extended cut, but it was nice. It was fun while watching it. So anyway, let's move on. Okay, so this is the weird outro part where I'm done talking about the movie, but I have to say something because I can't just end it at good movie, guys. But yeah, it was a good movie, guys. You know, it was great. I really enjoyed the movie. I do want to talk about maybe like a little rounded discussion about the 3 movies. I do like, one of my friends is probably going to do it. She's still watching. She just finished watching part 2 actually, so yeah, I don't know how she's going to watch part 3. Or maybe I won't, but since we're talking about just this movie, I do think it's good. It is better than the first movie, obviously, because it has a finale and everything. It is not better than the second movie. I actually sat through this. The second movie was almost 4 hours long, but it didn't feel like, because it was really well paced. Again, watch the previous episode if you want to know about those. But yeah, good movie in general. Would I recommend it to you? Probably, yes, I would recommend it to you. It wouldn't make a lot of sense if you watch this movie and you haven't watched the other two movies. So would I recommend Lord of the Rings in general? It is said to be, each movie is said to be universally acclaimed and all, and usually sometimes movies are kind of trash, but this one certainly isn't. It deserves all the praise, it deserves all the love and everything. Like, it has a very huge following, by the way. It's almost like Harry Potter. Lord of the Rings has a huge following. Like, actually in the book, like I saw I saw a Quora post where someone was like, why does Frodo leave with the elves in the end? And I kid you not, I'm not even exaggerating. You can probably Google this. Someone wrote 7 to 8 paragraphs explaining the entire lore of why Frodo left Middle-earth. It's incredible. As nerdy and dumb it is, I appreciate the fan base's dedication. They know what they like, right? So it's a fun fan base. So yeah, a really good movie. I would recommend you watch all of them. And now I'm going to tell you guys to take care of yourself. If you are listening to the podcast, if you've listened till now, I don't know if there's a comment system on podcasts. I'm new to this thing. All right, give me a break. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. If you are listening, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching the video, although let's be honest, of course, if you're watching, then the podcast is the midcast. Link is in description. And if you're listening, then just search up King Kamikaze on YouTube, because I don't really know how you can link stuff in the podcast. Vice versa. If you feel more like you want to watch a person move around and speak, watch me speak. I'm not really the best looking, but hey, I'll do. Or if you just want to listen to my voice, that's fine too. Like, I wouldn't want to shatter your dreams of a perfect figure if you're just listening to my voice. But thank you guys so much for watching / listening. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now because I feel like I've been talking enough. And I'll see you all in the next episode. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much.